First of all, I'm really pleased with the 6 goals. It could have been more. We created a couple of more chances, and it was different from the other game. I'm also happy about the substitutions we did after around 55 minutes, because they changed the playing style a little bit. So overall, there was a good performance, and what we talked about between the first game and this game, the players made it happen out there, and for that I'm very happy.
Thank you, Coach. And then Javier.
For me, like from what I saw inside the pitch, I think we bring the intensity this game. I think we had like fresh legs after a long trip in the first game, so I think that helped us in the second game. But I think I like the overall performance because I think everybody did their best, and we scored a goal early in the game, so that helped us. But also in the second half, I think the players that came from the bench, they helped us a lot, and they got fresh legs, so we scored a lot of goals. But I think we could score more, but I'm really happy with the back four because we didn't concede any goals, so it's a good point for us.
I think the main reason is, Rafa was talking about the traveling arrangement. And it's, if you're Brazilian, you need to travel, and there's a long travel to come to Johannesburg. And that's one thing. And we had one practice, 1.5, pretty much, in order to prepare for the first game. So now when you play the game, this is a little bit of a teacher every game. So of course we took some pictures, we emphasized certain things we really liked, for instance our left side, but also talked about things that could be better. So I think it's a lot about the preparation more so than anything else. Well, to be honest, the game plan, both games actually, we talked about the same kind of defending. The difference is we were more successful this game than the last game we played. And I think with the players like Rafa, center back, tall, if we can have a high pressure, it's a good advantage for us. Now it takes a lot of energy. And of course, when we're talking about, we had more days to the second game, so the energy was there with some new players as well. Defending in general, I thought was better. We were more compact, and I think it's crucial that we are capable to high pressure, play with high pressure, but also with low pressure, because in the World Cup, hopefully there are many games, and if you can control the game by good defending and having a play like Rafa dominate the air, dominate the back four, then I think we have a good chance to do well in the World Cup. There's a long road to and a long journey to the World Cup, and the journey is all that matters. So I really we talk a lot about not only the World Cup, how are we getting there and what could we work on. Maybe Rafa can talk about her performance, her preparation, because she in Arsenal, you in Arsenal, compare that to Tamires. I think Tamires has been one of our best players. Of course, that's different, and we have to take that in consideration when we evaluate the players. So, well, you've not been doing that much in Arsenal yet, I guess.
Yep. I think in Arsenal, I just came from a preseason. We just started the preseason because our season starts like right now. When we come back, we have our first game in like 4 days. But I think like when we get together, like we have different levels like from the players, because some players play in Brazil, some players plays in Europe, and then like we need to get together and get ready for those games. Sometimes we need more time to get in the same level, but I think we like did a good job after the first game, because we could like have more time to prepare and we're ready to that game. So hopefully in the World Cup we're gonna have more time together to get better.
Well, I am so busy with my own team to make sure we do the right thing with the Brazilian national team. But I would like to say something. South Africa is the best team in Africa, and that is huge. First of all. Secondly, there is a small detail. Well, there are some players you can talk about, which I think had a little problem with. Some of them are very technical, and I think they have a bright future if, when you keep possession, in order to find the right moment to go forward. And there are some interesting situations where we talked about now defending. No, we wait stretched out. We need to do better against South Africa. So for the coach, it's I guess just to continue, and what we are doing, we won the Copa America. So I tell the players we're the best all the time, and gain some confidence, and at the same time work on things that we believe will be important in the World Cup. And coach for South Africa will probably do the same thing.
Actually, I didn't think this game was more difficult the first one. I think we did a good job pressing and keeping it on their half. So that lead us we had a lot of space behind us to cover, and we knew the biggest point was the long ball. So we knew we would have trouble if we keep them high because we were pressing high. So we gave them a lot of space behind. But I don't think we had too much trouble today in the game. We scored early in the game. We just need to deal with the pressure because this time I couldn't have that much space to build up from the left side. In the first game I had a lot of space. This game they're pressing with three at top, so we need more time in between the defenders to pass the ball and get the ball to the forwards. But I think we did a good job in both games defending. For me, I think playing in Europe against and with the best players in the world, I would say, because every training, every practice, we play against the best ones, I think. And the intensity of the trainings are really high compared, you can compare with the games we play with the national team. So I think it's good when we train every day with that intensity, with those players that you have to do your best every training. And when we get to the national team, we're prepared physically and mentally and everything, I think. And I like the league in Brazil. It's getting so much better now. I like the players from Corinthians, Palmeiras, the biggest team. They also have a good preparation. But I think the league in Europe, you can get the intensity that we used to get in the games with the national teams against the best teams. But I think if we have more time with the national team practicing, training together, we're going to be ready for the World Cup.
And when you look at the differences, while we were playing Copa America, and I think this is interesting. I've been in US back in the good old days, and I've been coaching Sweden as well. So what's happening in the women's game right now is the Europe with the European Championship. The quality was so much better, I think, even compared to the World Cup 2019. So things are happening in those, we talk about 3-4 years. And that's why it's so important that the rest of us. So if you compare the final, England versus Germany, that was a good game. And semi-finals was so exciting. Compare that to Copa America. Yes, it was exciting. 25,000 Colombians. They were cheering for Colombia, and it's that game I don't think is as good as the final in Europe. And then you also have the U.S. League trying to improve the game. So in the women's game today, it's taking steps. And the fact that South Africa today is the best team in Africa, I think also is interesting, because you can't take anything for granted. If you sit and think, okay, I'm coaching the women's team, even I'm coaching the best team in the world, like Sarina in England. If she sits and she's complacent, okay, then somebody else would take her spot. And that is happening right now in the women's game. And that's why I'm so happy still be around the game, because the development the improvement is something unique right now. And there is a gap between European Championship and Copa America. And the style is a little bit different as well. I have to take that in consideration as well. And there is a difference between Africa, that tournament, compared to the tournament in South America. And we are all, I think all of us in the women's game, we are so excited. We try to look at the best all the time. And then you ask the Japanese coach. I was in Costa Rica and saw the final, Japan, and they did quite well, but Spain, they won. So everybody's looking at what's happening in the women's game today. And then South Africa has some technical players. How could you make the team stronger and so on? So today, being around the women's game, I think we are the lucky ones because it's developing so fast.
Thank you. That would be it. Thank you, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.